Welcome, everyone. I am so excited to bring you Deb Hill. Deb is a friend of mine, and she is also a women's health coach. Is that accurate?
Yes.
Yes. I have had her on an interview in this group before, and it was really fantastic. And I was excited to have her back again this time to talk about kind of a little bit of a different aspect of menopause that sometimes people ask about, and that is menopausal weight gain. And we'll also touch on hot flashes as well. Welcome, Deb.
Thank you so much. Such an honor to be here. Thank you, Kathy, so much. Really
Absolutely
great. I
love.
hope I can help today.
Yeah, I'm sure. I'm sure you will. I'm sure you will. So that is fantastic. So let's get into it. So menopausal weight gain. So I just want to kind of I'll just tell a quick story too about I shared in this group before that I am beginning my journey as well. And then I was like,
Welcome to the group.
I was like, oh, maybe it'll just disappear and not come back, and like nothing will happen, and everything in life will stay the same except for that. But of course, we get a lot of different things. So menopausal weight gain, why does it happen, and what can we do about it?
Yes, that's the two things. Why does it happen? And what can we do? I'm sure everybody doesn't care as much about why it happens, but what to do. They'd rather hear about that, which is good. I'm going to get to that quickly. But if you know why it happens, first of all, you have more control over what to do about it. You understand why you're doing what you're doing. You're not just like, oh, I'm just going to give up because I don't get why this works, right?
Right.
So if you remember back to when we entered puberty, we suddenly had all these things happening to us just a mile a minute. It didn't go smoothly to the end, you know? We had skin problems and greasy hair, and we were sweaty and smelly, and emotional drama, and all this weight distribution was changing
Right.
in good ways, and maybe good ways we're like, about whatever. We had hair in weird places. We got our periods. So
True.
all this, well, guess what? It's happening again.
Uh,
Every single thing is happening again, right? We have the same issues, and it doesn't happen slowly. It
mhm,
happens rather quickly.
mm,
Um, so this change we go through creates a lot of bumps along the way, basically because you hear a lot about our hormones being the issue. Lowering estrogen and progesterone, those two buddies are the problem here. Our progesterone goes down first, so we end up with like actually it does a spike thing, and we get like a rise in libido. Suddenly your husband is like awesome. And um, then it starts to lower, and we get like more hairs here and there.
mm,
We don't know like why, but that's why progesterone lowering does that. We get also it our digestive power, pardon me, our digestive power reduces because of this. Peristalsis action is controlled by progesterone. So
no way.
the action through our stomachs of the yeah, so things will sit longer, and we'll have acid reflux, we'll have bloating, constipation. All that happens because our progesterone just like took a vacation, just went away.
Mhm.
Then our estrogen lowers, and our body starts to cry for more estrogen because excuse me, every cell in our bodies has these little receptors
Mhm.
for estrogen, and they're crying for like, where's the estrogen? You're not making enough. So our bodies respond with cortisol, and
Right.
you know what that creates. When we have cortisol running through our bodies at a higher level, it makes adipose or fat tissue, and it'll settle it around the middle of us and our back, like our, the wings of our back, let's say.
Yeah.
So that makes our estrogen receptors all happy in every cell, so they have more estrogen. Well, this can't go on forever. We
Mm.
have to start training our the little receptors to quiet down, close up. We don't need that much estrogen forever, and we are running on lower amounts. So
Mm.
we do have some say here. We can train our bodies to use less estrogen.
That is amazing to me. When you said that to me before, I was like, really? We can
Yeah.
train our bodies? Wow. So how do we do that?
There is hope. Now, there's three ways. This is what we do about it.
Okay.
That was why it happens. Now, what do we do about that? There's three big things that I want everyone to remember here. Nutrition is key. Number one, nutrition, movement.
Mhm.
Every day, I tell my clients, break a sweat
Yeah.
every day.
Yeah.
Okay. So if you miss a day, great, but don't plan on it.
Right.
Do every day. And number three is the mental slash emotional slash spiritual support that
Mhm.
we need, because it is a roller coaster. I spent a few days last week being sad, and I know why I was sad, because serotonin also gets low
Right.
when we go through this. So, and it's not regular, like it's not all the time. So it's good to know if you're sad, reach out to someone and do something about it. But there's a spiritual journey that has to happen here as well, somehow, whatever your path is. So as a nutrition coach, as a holistic nutrition coach, I get to delve into those areas as well. But today we're focusing on weight loss, and the spiritual component, meditation, has a lot, by the way, to do with it.
It
You can help weight loss by meditation, but that's okay. The number one thing to remove,
okay.
you're gonna love this,
Yeah.
sugar slash alcohol.
Yep.
We really, really, really need to be very serious and focused about the
Yes.
removal of as much white sugar,
Yes.
and densely sugared foods that have
Yep.
no fiber or whatever, processed foods, but alcohol. And I know that's sad to hear right now. We
Mhm.
love to celebrate with our cookies and some wine or
Mhm.
champagne on the new year, things like that. But we're in training,
Right.
you
And I think
know?
that's a great way to frame it, because if you know why you're doing something, it's a lot easier to do it. If you're just doing it because you're not supposed to, your doctor told you, whatever.
You're
Uh,
not going to stick with it.
yeah. Yeah.
It
It's a lot.
doesn't hit home. It doesn't mean anything to you.
Right.
So, yeah, and I have a lot of, we don't just remove because we leave a void,
Mhm.
right? So we have a lot of tricks and stuff that we can do to help fill that void of sugar and alcohol.
Yeah.
And so there's that. And like I said earlier, it's not a perfect 100% all the time you have to be this way. If you have a glass of wine or something like that, don't like beat yourself up over it. You
Right.
know you had it. Figure out how that makes you feel.
Mhm.
And moving forward, remember that the next time, you
Right.
know?
Yes, that
Keep
is so
it
important. Yeah, because you have to begin to train your brain, because your brain is like, "Ooh, that's good. That creates serotonin, or it makes me feel good," or whatever. And if you can retrain your brain of, that really wasn't that enjoyable," then because that's your brain, everything your brain does is to change your state, and for, some purpose, for some enjoyment.
I'll tell you, when you're in the menopausal journey, the perimenopausal and menopausal journey, you can tell within minutes
Mm,
what happens as a result of that sugar. I'm telling you, with like 2-3 minutes, you can tell. You get hot flashes,
yep.
you get exhausted,
Mm,
you can get angry or weepy
this
within minutes.
so good, because I've talked
So
to people who tell me, I'm so tired and I don't know why, or I have all this, belly weight gain, and I'm trying to figure it out. So this is so great.
yeah, I told you I had sugar today. I have to be honest. I I ended up having this like a little thing. I don't remember. It's chocolate. It had sugar on the outside. It was a little
Mhm.
cookie. Heartburn. Oh my God. So much heartburn. I'm going to remember that.
Yeah.
And that was pain. I was like, okay, pain is a teacher. We have two teachers in life, pain and pleasure.
Yeah.
Pain is a teacher. And that was a lesson for me. So I'm not perfect either.
Mhm.
And we get through this together.
Right.
So the one thing to add in, next thing, one thing to add in your life,
Yes.
fiber. If you
Yes.
are not getting enough fiber, I don't want to say do it right away. Every day, add a little more fiber into your life.
Yes, that's important.
And
Slowly too.
yeah, you can't like throw in 25 grams of fiber if you've been eating 5, you're gonna have a very bad day.
Yeah,
Your
right.
tummy will be very bloated and
That's
lots of gas.
surprises. Yeah.
So it's not a pleasant day. So I say take 2 weeks and
Hmm.
introduce a little bit more fiber to your diet every day. Now, what does that look like though, Kathy? You
Hmm.
know, everyone wants to know, well, how do you eat? What does 25 to 35 grams of fiber look like? I'm
Right.
clue. You can't weigh it. You can't
Right.
cut it to a certain size. The best way there's 2 kinds of fiber. I want to make that clear, but we'll talk about the second kind later. The first kind is the roughage or the
Yeah.
insoluble fiber. And
Right.
that's what we need at every meal. That helps us because we don't have that peristalsis action through the intestines anymore so
Right.
much. We need our helper fiber every meal.
Right.
So um, half of your plate should be vegetables, and it doesn't need to be raw. In fact, with my women that I coach them half of your vegetables should be cooked and half raw,
Oh, excellent. Good.
at
Good.
least, if not 3/4 cooked and a quarter raw. You don't need to have a zillion salads all the time. It's not going to help you lose weight,
Right.
honestly.
Right.
You'll get as much fiber out of your cooked foods as your raw foods if you
And
keep
that
your peels on.
be more enjoyable too.
Oh, yeah.
Getting some.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Again, we lower the tummy troubles when we have a
Yes.
little bit of.
Awesome.
So half your plate full
Yep.
of vegetables, okay, every meal.
Yep.
And that should be good. We talked about fruits, right? People
Yep.
think that fruits are going to add the weight on them.
Hmm.
Really, that cookie I had and alcohol, like that's the stuff that's really gonna
Right.
fruits at this point. The highest fiber fruit is a pear.
Hmm. Yes. The people.
And as you know, the highest fiber, highest sugar fruit is a pear.
You have
So
the fiber to offset it. You have the fiber to offset
exactly.
it, and you have other things that will offset it. And I tell people, as long as I do a fruit and vegetable challenge, it's always interesting because
Right.
I let people choose whatever 5, and a lot of times it's all fruit, which is okay. But I said, let's see if you can flip 2 or 3 of those to vegetables and have 2 of them as the fruit.
Yes.
So that's fine, but the vegetables have magic power.
As we get through the perimenopausal and menopausal transition,
Hmm.
your dark leafy greens, not string beans,
Hmm.
not peas,
Right.
dark leafy, they have your minerals in it, which keep us young.
Yes.
So we need our dark leafy greens daily. I recommend 2 to 3 servings a day for my clients.
Awesome.
So
Yes.
that's a goal we reach when I work with my clients.
Yeah.
And so that's insoluble fiber. The other thing that this fiber does, both kinds, pull out the excess estrogens that have been pulled out. They've already been used by the body once, and they're supposed to be leaving.
Hmm.
Well, as we slow down the digestion, it'll start pulling out resources again, and one of them is estrogen. And that recycles through your body and creates inflammation. It doesn't do the job we want it to do,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
and it creates inflammation.
Yeah.
So we want to keep that inflammation low,
Yeah.
which will help keep our weight low.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
So
good. So good. This was such great information, Deb. Thank you so much. So, I would love to get people connected to you. And I think you run an amazing group. And do you recall the name of your group?
it was support for perimenopause.
Okay.
So
I
hold
have
on.
the link.
Good. Yes, support for parent with the number 4 in it. I'm gonna that may change soon. So definitely we want to get into my group,
Yep.
and you'll find a lot of support there for things like weight loss, weight maintenance,
Mhm.
as well as the other things that plague us throughout our transition.
Absolutely. I'm in your group
Thanks
as
for putting
well.
me.
And there's
Yeah.
a lot of great information there. So what I will do is I will drop the link to your group in the comments, and
Great.
people can check you out over there because you've got a lot of great stuff. And this was amazing information. So I will pull out with timestamps some of the good pieces here so that people can go back and find it and know exactly what they should do. But thanks
Thank you.
again, Deb.
Thank you very much. It was great to see you, Kathy, and thank you for having me on.
Yeah, awesome. All right, I'll be seeing you around.